What's up, peeps? It's the Wig Man, aka the Wigician, aka Floppy Ears, aka Notorious WIG. And today, I want to talk about the 5 steps for unlocking your creative genius. Now, this is, of course, my own little formula, but while I was driving for Lyft and Uber back in 2018, after about a year, I was really bored. I was like, how do I entertain myself? And a family of passengers were like, it'd be really funny if you showed up wearing a wig. I was like, that's a great idea. So I started wearing the wig and realized that it was the magic trick to building an instant, playful connection with people I'd never met before. And what it gave me as a permission slip was to step into a different relationship with myself, where I was giving myself permission to play and have fun. And that's the foundation of creative genius, of accessing your creative genius, is the willingness you give yourself to play. Because that lighthearted mood, it starts amping up your emotional state, and it elevates your awareness. And as you grow in your expansive perception, you start encompassing more of life itself. So if you're not familiar, there's a term called a toroidal field, and it's a sphere with a vortex that runs through the center, both simultaneously in and out at the same time. And this sphere is what your body sits in. It's an electromagnetic field. Now, as you ramp up this energy, what happens is you break out of the narrow channel. There's 2 things happening at the same time. For most people, they're stuck on the periphery of this toroidal field in a wobbling state of vibration. Their mind is in a cockeyed, off-balance state because of all the chaos in the world and in their internal world, and they don't take the time to station themselves in the center. And yet, it's possible to do so, and once you have locked into place, you are both simultaneously in the center of the vortex and outside of this toroidal field at the same time. That's the yin-yang perception that you tap into when you have broadened your perspective so much that you're no longer stuck in this toroidal field. So it's all about momentum. And when you stack fun on top of itself to a point where you're absolutely silly and being completely ridiculous, that's when good ideas reach you. So this 5-step process is step 1, to build your avatar. So for me, it was the Wig Man. And for you, it might be something completely different, but it's all about what would you identify with as your superhero self, and what would they be wearing? So go out and buy something or pull something out of your closet that you don't normally wear that helps you feel your most confident self. Like, don't mess with me if I'm wearing this, in whatever capacity. For me, it's don't try and convince me that this doesn't work, because as ridiculous as it looks, I get to play. And for me, I don't really care how people judge the fact that I'm wearing this wig, because it makes me feel differently about myself. So that's step 1. Find gear that you can start building your ideal avatar, your genius avatar. Step 2 is build your genius portal. So for me at the time, it was the car. And it was my safe space to play. So for you, that might be your bathroom, that might be your garage, your attic, It might be your bedroom, it might be some other space, it might be outside. But find a place where when you step into it, you don't feel like you have to justify your existence or prove your worth or defend yourself in any way. And you have the feeling of safety to play. Because the more safe you feel, the more fun you can have and the more you indulge in that feeling of play. And play, again, is the entryway into your creative genius. So you might put up affirmations or totems or ways or reminders of some kind just to start priming your mind when you step into that space to give yourself permission to play. So you step into that portal while wearing your genius avatar costume. And step 3 is health and mental hygiene. So in order to sustain this momentum, you have to take after the foundations of your health and wellness. And that looks like sleep, exercise, good nutrition, maybe some meditation, yoga, and all these things address the foundation for you to sustain that high frequency of vibration, that emotional play. And when you do that consistently and you build a habit around it, you can start essentially priming the pump every single day and be able to expect that something new and interesting is going to emerge. And as you stack all these ideas that come to you over time, you build concepts, you build idea babies, and they can formulate into things that people on the periphery look at as genius, as creative genius. So one other thing I want to mention in the play portal is when you stack fun, find ways of stacking fun. So if it's dancing, if it's adding music to the environment, if it's, some kind of food that you love that makes you happy every single time you eat it, just compound the amount of fun you're willing to give yourself permission to have in this environment, and it will accelerate things to a degree that you have probably never experienced before. Step 4 is idea sex. So idea sex is sharing those ideas that come to you with people who can receive them and bounce new ideas back off to you that will start building this into something even more expansive. And what I found while driving for Lyft and Uber was as I shared my ideas with passengers, over a 10-month period, I was able to develop such amazing, inspiring, creative ideas that people really appreciated and suggested that I really take seriously enough to work on. So sharing your ideas is such an important part of this process because it gives you perspective on how other people are actually perceiving it. And it's not just your own siloed world of imagination, but it's the rubber meeting the road of what would this look like if the public was engaged in it? And you can learn and tinker and refine your ideas based on feedback from other people. So step 5 is accountability. And ideally, you have some form of checklists or habit tracking so that you can, at the end of your day, look back and reflect on which things did you do that you consistently set out to do, that you can then start seeing whether or not over time you are getting in your own way by not addressing them, or you're able to enhance your ability to compound that play and the effect of tapping into that state, which is yielding for you creative ideas that point to your genius. And so accountability is such an important part of this process because it jumpstarts you back to square one or step one with your avatar and thinking about what is it that you can do to perpetuate this feedback loop moving in an upward spiraling direction. So you're grading yourself at the end of the day. And when you do this, you build in your own self-confidence around your ability to tap into your creative genius. And if you have friends who might want to get involved in this process with you, get them on the same spreadsheet where you're all tracking each other's, habits that you say you're setting out to do each day. So for me, I have a list of 30 things: my diet, what time I wake up in the morning, what time I go to bed at night, how many hours of sleep I get, how many minutes in meditation I sat, did I journal, do yoga, on and on and on. How healthy did I feel in my physical, mental, emotional state, my relationships, what are the quality of them, what was the quality of my social interactions. There's so many things that I've been developing a tracking system around for the last 2 to 3 years. And that's what has helped me build out a system for predictably knowing how to tweak my own mindware or the computer of my brain or my body to get back into the position where I can access that creative genius. So that's it for now. I hope that this somehow inspires you to think about what you can do for yourself. And if you have any other ideas that can be added to the mix, please share them in the comments below. Much love.